I just wanted to pop on here today, do a little bit of follow up. I recently made a video speaking about kind of where I'm at right now in life and some things that I've been going through. And I posted that on my page, and it was in reference to some issues I guess I have with my character and some ways it impacted me, and it ended up impacting my employment, and ultimately how it ended up impacting my family and kind of the space that I was in at that point. That being said, that I made that video, I did want to follow up with my wife and actually kind of share, I guess, a little bit more about the impact it's had on our family and kind of where we're at and what we're hoping to do, I guess, moving forward. So just, I guess, with that, obviously I'm addressing the fact that I had some character flaws, and which ultimately was led to me stealing at work, and I ended up fumbling my career of 8 years at that point. And it's been a financial impact. It's been an impact in, I guess, uncovering some things that we needed to address, or mainly me, but just that was impacting our relationship. So that said, how do you feel like this situation or this experience has impacted how you look at me or the respect you have for me?
I don't feel like I look at you any different because I already knew you had character flaws. Um, so I guess if nothing else, I think it was an opportunity. I don't know. I guess for everybody else to see like who you really were, and I don't mean like that in a negative way, I guess, but just like in a real way. I feel like you had always been able to kind of put up a facade as like this family man who got it all together, because I think when people look at us, they're like, oh, they got 4 kids, they got a beautiful house, she don't have to work, they got it all together. But I feel like I always try to do my part to make sure I kept everything up that was within my control. And like I said, I feel like people just assumed you were a certain type of man because of maybe how I presented or what I did and didn't share publicly, or I don't know. It just like people have like this idea of who we are and what we got and how we move. And like I said, I think people just assumed you were this great guy. And I'm not saying that you were a bad guy, but like you said, you just lacked character. You lacked integrity. And I feel like maybe you was in this space like where you wanted to look the part, but you hadn't figured out how to actually become that person, how to actually be the man that you presented yourself to be. So like I said, it didn't necessarily impact my view of you or my level of respect for you, because something I had to learn, years back, like, early in our marriage, is like I can't let my respect for you be contingent upon how you act, because you've done peculiar things, so I don't know, like, it's been things that you've done that I didn't agree with, but I had to figure out, like, who do I want to be? How do I want to talk to you? How do I want to treat you? How do I want to love you? How do I want to represent a wife to my children, a wife to the community? Like, who do I want to be as a woman? And like I said, not letting how I interacted with you be impacted by what you did. But I would say, if anything, it's brought us closer, because I was complicit in a lot of things, because like I said, I tried to hold things together. I tried to keep the machine moving regardless of what you were doing. And I think it gave me an opportunity to finally kind of put everything down and trust that I didn't have to be in control of everything in order for everything to go smoothly.
Yeah.
So I feel like if nothing else, this season has taught me, like I said, how to kind of lay all my burdens down, how to trust in God, and also how to give you an opportunity to like really become that man.
Yeah.
Because when I'm trying to hold it all together and trying to essentially like help you keep up this look, you're not really becoming the man that I know that you were called to be.
No, that's powerful. And yeah, I agree. Like, I think for me, I had, like you said, this facade, and I felt like just coming from my upbringing, the background I had, the experience I had when dealing with other folks, the comments and different things we would get kind of put this battery in my back a little bit, which kind of ultimately, like I said, hot or reinforced the character flaws that I had at the time. Like it kind of,
What you mean?
like it kind of amplified it, because it was kind of like, all right, not only do I struggle with honesty or finances or whatever, but now people are kind of associating certain things or certain ideas to me, or people are looking at, at me and at us a certain way as, I don't want to say an example, but for lack of a better term, like an example, or the couple that's making it, or whatever. So I think it kind of amplified that need and that desire, that ego, that pride, where it was like, all right, I have to like figure this out, and if I don't have the tools, or I'm not equipped with the knowledge or the mental or emotional space to do it, I have to find a workaround, essentially, to make that be the case.
Yeah.
And it was tough. Like it's hard letting that go. It's hard shedding that. And I'm super thankful that I had you in my life and that you kind of supported me through these seasons. And I think deep down, like, I am a good guy. And I think that's something that hurt me too, or plagued me, is like, I did have this idea, like, I'm not really a bad guy. I'm not really, and I still don't believe that, but I know it is that acceptance and that ownership of those flaws or those shortcomings or those places, and being honest with yourself as a man, where it's just like, I ain't got it for real. Or
I mean, but we had those conversations early on in our marriage, like where I felt like you thought you was something, and I'd be like, you ain't no, you know what I mean? Like, I would kind of be like, that's not who you really are. Like, you're not, like you said, a bad guy, but are you what you think you are? Are you what people think you are? No. And I will always try to encourage you, like, why don't you be the person instead of acting like the person? But once again, I feel like maybe even in my ego, or in my desire to be this martyr, I felt like, well, I can help him be that. I can encourage him to be that. I can, whatever. But it's like, it really ain't my role to make you be anything.
No, it's not. And I think it's a journey. Like, even in this season, I feel like it's a journey that I'm thankful for your support, but I think I have to still, once again, kind of go at it alone. But I think the difference, I would say now, kind of on the back end of everything, is like realizing my support circle, and realizing, like, all right, like, even though I felt like this from the masses, like, I never should have been rolling around feeling like I have to come home and play this superhero character with you. Like, I when I didn't have that, or I felt like I didn't have that anywhere, I felt like I had to keep it on all the time. And it gets a lot to carry and a lot to try to manage. And ultimately, you're not meant to. Like, I realized, like, I was destined for, like, a crash and burn at some point. And it happened. And as unfortunate as the impacts have been, it feels like when that kind of happened, it was so crazy, just feeling the peace that I felt finally, just kind of like, all right, it is what it is. Like, I gotta let this go, and it's time. Like I said, I wasn't really big on, like, not to get too into faith or anything like that. I had never been on that journey before, never really found like any sort of solace or anything in it. But during this season, it's really kind of taught me that I gotta lean into God, and that I didn't really have anything else. Like, I can't do this by myself.
Yeah.
Like, and I was trying to, and I see how easy it is to give into my flesh, or to be broken, and kind of approaching it with a broken mindset from that space. And ultimately, I'm realizing that I need a guy. Like, the stuff I'm trying to do, like, I do desire to be that family man. I do desire to be this career or goal-oriented guy, like, that's striving. I do want to hit certain places financially for us. I do enjoy the fact that you're a stay-at-home mom and that you get to raise our kids and be hands-on. But I also realize that in this season, I'm realizing like a lot of my old ways have to die.
Yeah.
For me to step and, renew myself and become, what I mean? Like to get to that next level, I think, and do it in a right way with a right heart posture, a right spirit, the right emotional space. It's really been a season where I've had to sit back and really reflect on a lot, going back all the way to my childhood. Like, why do I cope this way? Why do I do these things? Why do I feel this need to carry this or to do this? Why do I resort to this? So it's really been a tough experience, but an experience that I'm thankful for all the same. And I think, my goal is that we'll come back, greater and better than ever. And I think it's also encouraged me to, reluctantly so, encouraged me to speak about this experience and try to offer that feedback and advice or experience that I've had to other people, because I don't know if anybody's going through this, if anybody can resonate with any of these feelings that I had or that I'm experiencing. But I'm just definitely thankful for you, thankful for the space that we're in now. I think this might be more on brand for our purpose and our calling, is kind of talking about our experience and navigating and what we see in relationships and the different breakdowns. So I'm very optimistic about the future, even in the midst of turmoil. So
yeah,
I mean, I guess I really question it. It's made me see a lot in you, and I know you kind of mentioned or highlighted, like, I kind of knew these things about you or saw those remnants of that before, but what do you think really prevented you from, like, just getting up and walking out? Like, it's I really feel like that's what we get told, and it's you see it every day, and that's how talking. I feel like people would have left me for less. Like, what do you think has kept you here and loving me and deciding, like, hey, I'm gonna stick through this?
I think number one, because that's what I chose to do. Like, when I made a commitment to you, like, when I'm thinking back on where I was in life at, 19, 21 when we got 21, when we got married, 22 when we got married, like, I knew who you were. I didn't think you was gonna, keep the habits up, but like, I knew who you were. So I was like, I can't, now that I'm in the situation that I signed up to be in, try to wash my hands of it because it's inconvenient. And I remember I was talking to, I believe, either my nana or like my great aunt, like, an elder, and she was like, put your big girl drawers on and figure it out. Like, that's your husband. Like, this is what you signed up to do. Figure it out. So I think talking to women who've managed a relationship, who've sustained a relationship, women who've been long suffering, like, talking to people who know what it takes to maintain a marriage has helped me. But also, like, really just taking a step back, like, my ego, my pride is telling me, like, yeah, if this relationship is inconvenient, just leave this person. Like, you deserve better. You can do better. You this type of woman. You can blah, 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 blah. But really checking myself and realizing, like, do I want to be like the world? Do I want to give up? Do I want to wash my hands of something and have to find another relationship and potentially have to encounter the same issues or different issues instead of just figuring out how to make this work? And I think lastly, like, for our kids, like, it was important for me to really make sure, like, if I leave a situation, I want it to be because I did absolutely everything I could do and this other person was unwilling, versus it's an uncomfortable season. And it's really been crazy. Like, more recently, we be watching like different podcasts or different shows, and people be talking about their marriages like, yeah, we 18 years in and we just getting in our stride, or we 15 years in and we just getting in our stride. So I used to be ashamed, like, dang, we 10 years into a marriage, we still not, where I thought we was supposed to be. I still don't have the relationship that I assume that other people have. Like, is it me? Am I not worthy of that? Like, is that not, I don't know, but I wanted to stick by you because I really felt like you could change and you could grow. And like I said, I signed up for it, and I just wanted to have more heart than that. Like, I didn't want to chalk you because, thankfully we're starting to see the other side. And I realized, like, a happy, healthy marriage didn't require me to break my back. It required me to give you space to step into manhood and to give me space to step into womanhood, and ultimately just putting our faith in God that he'll, you know, do work everything for our good.
Yeah.